Ellen McCauley at Pray It Off in Syracuse, New York, and Pray It Off is a weight loss group. Weight has to do with what we think about ourselves. Weight's up here, but it also is what we eat. And I've noticed on a lot of people's food logs this session, there's a lot of non-real food on there. There's not like fresh vegetables, there's not fruits, there's not proteins. There's food on there that you get like a Whopper with cheese. Now, I loved, oh my gosh, give me a juicy hot. I could never, don't bring me a Whopper. I want to be in the line at Burger King. I want to take it off the conveyor belt, rip the paper off and shove it in my mouth. I have to have it boiling hot from the Burger King. I have not had a Whopper in 17 years because I go to Pray It Off. I run Pray It Off. Whoppers make me fat, and I don't think I need a Whopper. Here's the thing. If you have integrative eating, you will eat less and weigh less. And let's talk about whole person integrative eating. There's an acronym, WPIE. Some of you will embrace this. You have to have fresh food, as natural as possible, unprocessed fruits, vegetables, beans, peas, nuts, seeds, chemical-free, lean, animal-based foods, dairy, poultry, fish, meat. And then so many of those processed foods lead to obesity, heart disease, diabetes, some cancers, depression, and more. The second thing is to be aware of our feelings when we're eating. And I've made the suggestions in past Pray It Off sessions. Before you have the brownie with cream cheese frosting, write how you're feeling. Are you nervous, anxious, angry, or you just want a brownie with cream cheese frosting? But if you have 2 in one day and 2 every day, that says something. It's not a treat, it's a habit. So look at your feelings. Also have heartfelt gratitude for the food. The Native Americans were such grateful, and they still are, grateful people. They would kill a buffalo and turn their eyes to heaven and thank the Holy Spirit or the good spirit for the food. They'd use the hide. They'd use every bit of that buffalo. We so often are not really grateful. We don't stop and think, there was a farmer, there was a cow, there was this. Are we grateful for our food? How often do we have mindless eating? One of the things that saved my bacon was deciding to only have 3 meals a day. Now, the registered dietitian wants me to have some protein snacks, like a cheese curd. You're not going to weigh 300 pounds if you have a protein snack like a cheese curd. It's okay to have a healthy protein-filled snack. But if you're eating a bag of chips and all of a sudden you're at the bottom and you have no idea how you got there, that is mindless eating. And we want to be very careful about that. We need to have loving regard for ourselves and our food and take time to taste, savor, enjoy the mystery of life and the food. And it even talks about the smell. Aren't there certain smells like fresh coffee, olive oil? It talks about olive oil and the scent of olive oil helping people to lose weight just from that smell. Have a pleasing environment. If you're living in chaos and you don't even have a tabletop to put a plate down on, and I'm not judging anyone, it's time to work on your clutter because you should have an environment that's pleasing, an aesthetic atmosphere. And it's okay to eat out. If you live alone and you want to eat out, it's fantastic. I went out, the 1-year anniversary of my mother dying was January 30th. So my sister and niece and I and a best friend that's like a daughter to my mother, we decided we're going to go to lunch every January 30th and talk about how wonderful my mother was. So we went to Copper Top, and I got a salad with chicken on it, asked for a dish. Could I have a salad with chicken on it, balsamic vinaigrette on the side, and a to-go box? I immediately took everything, half of it in the dish. You can, and I ate the other half for dinner. You can go out, you can eat, you can have fun, you can talk. You do not have to see it all as a treat. Also, there are 13 processed foods that are actually good for you. Now, processed foods get a bad rap when they're things like the prepackaged cookies and all those sorts of things, chips, etc. But there are the negative processed foods people are addicted to. You know why you want them so badly? Because they manufacture them to taste so good that you want more and more and more. But healthy processed foods have ingredients your grandmother would recognize. And cheese curls are not a healthy processed food. And then they have a very few ingredients. A can of salmon is just that, a can of salmon. So, canned beans. Now, always look for lower sodium. Shopping should be an adventure. Shopping should be, have your readers or magnifying glass if you need it, and read those labels. You need to know what you're putting in your body. This is your body. So you read the labels, and if they don't have a lower sodium version, you rinse it. We don't eat one thing that we don't rinse. We rinse our tuna fish. We rinse our beans. If you buy bag lettuce, greens, we rinse that. If it says pre-washed, I don't believe them. They lie. Who's pre-washing them? Somebody down in Arkansas? Who? If it says pre-washed, you wash them. Trust me on that. Dairy or soy milk. I'm telling you that Fairlife milk is the best skim milk in the world. It tastes delicious. It's got protein in it. F-A-I-R, Life. I highly recommend it. Greek yogurt. Greek yogurt is the best. It's got micronutrients, especially calcium. Highly recommend. I've already talked about the salads and pre-cut vegetables. You got to be careful because if you're buying frozen fruit or frozen vegetables, read the label. Now, cereal. Cereal can be very healthy. I'm not talking about Cocoa Krispies. I'm talking about like Fiber One. Fiber One to me is so delicious. Now, Bran Flakes, not so much. I don't like the texture, I don't like the taste, but Fiber One I like. One of the members sent me a picture of Ezekiel. You know, I told you about the Ezekiel bread. Well, they have Ezekiel cereal, cold and hot. So we did buy the cold Ezekiel cereal. You better allocate at least a half hour for breakfast because it'll take you that long to chew. It is dense. It is dense. Guess what the serving size is? A half cup. But it is dense, it is very good for you, and I highly recommend it. There's levels of processed food. There's minimally processed foods like vegetables, fruits, grains, meat, and dairy. Processed culinary ingredients, olive oil, butter, sugar, and salt. And then there's processed foods like cheese, canned fish, and beans. And then there's those ultra-processed foods that are the no-nos. The frozen pizza, the soda, the sweet, salty snacks, canned soup, and most breakfast cereals. So I talked about rinsing the meat, the tuna fish, and you can have nut seeds and nut butter, tofu, pre-cooked lentils. Chickpea pasta is delicious. We have had it. It is delicious. Hummus. If you don't have a membership to Costco, it is worth it just to get their rotisserie chicken. It is honker, it is $4.99, and it is the best thing there is. And you eat it all week long, okay? And so I'm going to stop right there, Bob, and whip through the next one.